Hello, everyone. This is Dino Chris from Prehistoric Facts, and this is special episode number 233. We're going to be talking about a prehistoric mammal today, and that prehistoric mammal is Megatherium. And so, this is an artist rendition of what Megatherium possibly looked like. I don't agree with the colors on this one, but it's still an artistic rendition. But it does look a little bit cartoony, but it's still actually not too bad from what I could find. Some of the other ones that I could find are really old. Uh, like artist renditions of Megatherium, but this is the best one that I could find, and so yeah, so this is possibly of what Megatherium looked like, but without the type of color that was actually given into this one. Some information about Megatherium. The name Megatherium means great beast in Greek. Length is 20 feet long or 6 meters. Height is 6.5 feet or 1.9 meters. Weight is 8,200 to 8,800 pounds. So this is a pretty hefty animal. And it lived 5 million to 10,000 years ago in the Pliocene to Holocene epochs. So it lived a long time. And it was found in Argentina to Bolivia. And it was described by Georges Cuvier in 1796. So a very well known biologist, from France back in that kind of time. He's the one who described extinction uh, to uh, to the scientific realm and to the public at that point in time. And so there's some things that say that George Cuvier says he's a paleontologist, but paleontologists weren't really wasn't really defined at that point in time. Paleontology wasn't defined until a little bit more in the 1800s. But yeah, George Cuvier described Megatherium in a scientific paper in France. And so here is a map of South America, and you can see where I have circled here in this red circle, this red oddly shape here. This is where Megatherium fossils have been found. Now, if you've seen Walking with Beasts, you probably have seen that the where it take like in the episode where it takes place around 1 million years ago in Uruguay. Is it possible that Megatherium did live in Uruguay? It's still a possibility, yes. But most fossils have been found in northern Argentina, so the northern part of Patagonia, to southern parts of Bolivia. That's where we find most of the fossils of Megatherium. It's in northern Argentina and southern Bolivia. And so here's a size chart right here of Megatherium compared to a modern human being. So this is basically on all fours. When Megatherium did stand on its hind legs, this thing would be relatively between 10 to 15 feet tall. So this is a pretty big animal, really, really big sloth. And so this is a giant ground sloth. And here is a picture of a Megatherium skeleton. This one is in the Field Museum of Natural History in Chicago, Illinois, and it's in the Evolving Planet exhibit. I got to see that myself, and this is a pretty impressive skeleton. And you get to see how cool this thing is. But you don't get to see a really great view of the skull um, when you're actually facing in front of it, and also when you're getting towards the side of it, because this tree right here is in the way. But like, yeah, this thing is actually really, really cool. Probably one of the most impressive sloth skeletons I've ever seen. But yeah, and so let's actually continue on here. So Megatherium belongs to a group of mammals called the Folivora, and that it is mainly sloths. It is part of the sloth family, and that's why it's a giant ground sloth. And you can make the case that Megatherium is the reason why ground sloths became really, really popular to a lot of people. Megatherium being one of the largest ground sloths known. Is it the largest one? Technically, yes and no. There has been some other giant ground sloths that have been found. Some of them have been heavier than Megatherium, but it's still to be determined of like if Megatherium is the largest or it's not. Most likely, it is in one of the top three uh, biggest ground sloths, and it's part of its own family group, the Megatheridae, and so it's part of the giant ground sloth family. And typical features of giant ground sloths like Megatherium, it's got large claws and long forelimbs, short hind limbs. So these animals are pretty hefty and they can walk on all fours, but when they do rear up on their hind legs, mainly to feed, they will be pretty big. So these animals can be as heavy as Asian elephants, and that's saying something right there. It's as heavy as an Asian elephant. And inside the mouth, Megatherium has these grinding teeth. So these are teeth that are going to grind up like leafy plants. So it's mainly going to be eating leafy plants, mostly stuff from trees. Can also eat fruits when it can, and it has, and also Megatherium would have these small bones embedded in its skin. Because if you look at sloths, they have tiny bones in their skin. So this is kind of like armor for these animals. So it's kind of hard for certain predators to be able to like take a good bite out of these animals. But they do have predators. I'll get to that in a little bit later. And yeah, these animals were pretty hefty, and they're pretty vers. I wouldn't say versatile. I would say they're uh, pretty well protected. And so yeah, a lot of predators would not even dare go near an adult Megatherium because those are just way too dangerous for them to actually take down. And of course, Megatherium, like most ground sloths, are herbivores, so they eat plants. But rarely they can eat meat. Rarely they can eat meat, and so it's a because most herbivores they do need protein in their diet, and so could Megatherium possibly eat meat? I think that's a possibility. I mean, like look at hippos. We think of them as herbivores most of the time. Yes, they are herbivores, but we've seen video footage and even photographs of hippos eating meat out of a carcass, something that was dead, laying near the rivers and the ponds of Africa. And they find whenever there's a carcass nearby, they will eat some of that meat to actually get some protein in their diet. Not very uncommon, and so and possibly Megatherium did eat some insects along the way too, to actually get that protein. And so yeah, mostly herbivorous diet, but they can eat meat when they can. So, but very rarely they can. The environment in which Megatherium lived in would have been very cool and dry. There would have been occasional rainstorms, of course. There was plenty of trees, ferns, cycads, grass, and flowers. So you got a whole abundance of flora that was available for Megatherium and also some other types of herbivorous animals that were around at the time. You also had plenty of rivers, lakes, and ponds in South America in that point in time. And there's plenty of other animals like insects, amphibians, reptiles, birds, or avian dinosaurs, and some other mammals. And this was during the age of mammals, so this was part of the megafauna of South America. But Megatherium did have predators. One of the most popular predators, and it kind of hints into the name, uh, of Megatherium is Smilodon popliteor. And so Smilodon popliteor was around during this kind of time, and but mainly Smilodon popliteor would be going after the juveniles. They would actually be going after the juveniles of Megatherium. They would not even dare go near a full-grown Megatherium because a full-grown Megatherium could kill them. And so that's why Smilodon popliteor would mainly be going after the juveniles. And of course, there was another type of predator. It was Forest raucus, or a terror bird. And Forest raucus, it was on its last legs during that kind of time in the Pleistocene, in the early part of the Pleistocene. And so it was on its last legs in South America. It's because Smilodon was taking over, and the mammalian predators were a problem for the terror birds in South America. But Forest raucus was around during some parts of the time of Megatherium, and so Smilodon popliteor, it would be going after the juveniles, and that's what Forest raucus would actually be going after is the juveniles. The extinction of Megatherium was mostly due to climate change. It was around 10,000 years ago. The glaciers were already retreating on both the North and South poles, so Antarctica's glaciers were starting to retreat from southern parts of South America, and this is when the warmer temperatures started to happen. It got a lot drier, and also weather patterns changed. And of course, when this did happen, there were less trees and more grasslands, and so grasslands became a problem for Megatherium because Megatherium was not designed to eat grass. It was not designed to eat grass. It was mainly designed to eat leaves and fruits from trees. That's what it was designed for. It was designed to be kind of like a browser, so to speak. It was a browser uh, during that kind of time. It could not eat grass because if you look at sloths today, they're not eating grass. They're eating stuff from trees, and that's what they're eating. And so Megatherium just could not eat grass, and so the population of Megatherium dwindled uh, when the grasslands expanded. And the possibility when humans arrived in South America probably around 12,000 years ago, or even a little bit earlier than that. And it is not likely the cause for the extinction of Megatherium. Did humans possibly hunt down Megatherium? Yeah, that's a possibility, but I doubt that they actually uh, were the main cause of the extinction. It's mostly due to climate change. Mostly due to climate change. And here is a map of the Pleistocene during 18,000 years ago. So this is really close to when Megatherium was becoming extinct. And you can see where I have this red circle right here around in South America. That's is where Megatherium fossils are mostly going to be found, and that's where they mostly lived. And so, yeah, that's where they actually lived around here. And there was still like a little bit of they were still doing all right in this kind of time. We was right around say 12,000 to 10,000 years ago. Uh, they probably were having a hard time, and their numbers dwindled because of the expanding grasslands. And so the next episode will be on October 17th, 2024. And the extra episode will be on the 25th anniversary of Walking with Dinosaurs. So I'll talk about what Walking with Dinosaurs did in terms of like paleontology documentaries and what are some of the things that worked for this series, what things are not so good, like some things that did not age well, and also what am I looking forward to for the brand new series of Walking with Dinosaurs that is coming out in 2025. So I will be giving my opinions on Walking with Dinosaurs. I'll go through each episode in this show, in that episode, talk about like some pros, some cons, and tell you why I think it's still really good to why I still think it's still good to watch to this day. But anyway, yeah. So the 25th anniversary of Walking with Dinosaurs will be the extra episode for next week, and you can still send me questions about dinosaurs and other prehistoric life by emailing me at dinochrist71@gmail.com. Please, and also go on my Facebook page, Prehistoric Facts with Dino Chris. Like the page, you post your questions in the comment section. Please put them in the comment section. Don't put them on Messenger. Messenger's a private conversation, so please put your questions in the comment section on any Facebook post. And also for you YouTubers out there, like the video, subscribe to the channel. According to my analytics, a lot of you guys are checking out my channel are not subscribed yet. So please hit the like button and also hit the subscribe button. The more like and YouTube algorithm works is that the more likes the video gets, the more likely the video gets spread out to people that are interested in dinosaurs, prehistoric life, paleontology, and geology in general. So please feel free to do so. And also share the videos, share the channel to anybody that is interested in dinosaurs, prehistoric life, paleontology, and geology in general. So please feel free to do so. And also hit that notification bell so that you can get weekly notifications of every video that comes out. If you are having problems getting notifications, just unsubscribe, resubscribe, and hit that notification bell again, so that way you can get those notifications of when my videos comes out every single week. And also for you YouTubers out there, feel free to leave your questions in the comment section because I do read them all. You guys are giving me some great questions for the Q&A episodes. All of you are sending me questions via email, Facebook, and YouTube. You're giving me some great questions for the Q&A episodes, so keep up the great work with that. And also make sure you keep your questions short to the point. You can also follow me on Instagram at dino.chris.pf. I post pretty cool stuff on there. And also you can follow me on Threads, same thing, at dino.chris.pf. I post pretty cool stuff on there as well. Also, take care of the people around you, and also for your younger people out there, and make sure to listen to your parents, your teachers, and your guardians. It's the best motivation you could have. Good education is very important to have a good education. So with a good education, you get a good job in the future. And so, announcement here is that on November 9th, 2024, so this coming November, so a month away, I got a new event at the Marathon County Public Library in Wausau, Wisconsin, 1 to 2 p.m. Central Time. And this event is about Triceratops. And so, if any of you that are in the Wausau, Wisconsin area around this kind of weekend of November 9th, please feel free to come on down to the Marathon County Public Library in Wausau, Wisconsin, around 1 to 2 p.m. Central Time. I'll be talking about Triceratops. I'll talk about like what say what Triceratops ate, uh, how it lived, and also what kind of predator, what kind of other types of animals were around in its environment, and also the discovery of Triceratops. I'll be discussing more things about that too. So if you're interested in learning more about Triceratops, please feel free to come on down to the Marathon County Public Library, November 9th, 1 to 2 p.m. Central Time in Wausau, Wisconsin, to actually hear me talk about Triceratops. That's it for now, and I'll see you guys next time.